United mobilizes communities so everyone, everywhere has a path to opportunity. We are united in purpose. We bring people together to build stronger communities. Together, we improve education, financial stability, and health, generating local support for local solutions. School readiness is a priority, helping children succeed in school, work, and life. We help youth stay on track to graduate, equipped for higher or vocational education. We help people turn economic tightropes into stable financial pathways and build economic mobility. We help people get access to healthcare, healthy neighborhoods, and healthy food. And we're united in our purpose. Live your purpose by joining United Way.
Welcome, everyone. I am back. We are here. We are ready to do our 4 p.m. live stream. I was just telling the team I just had my first cup of coffee for the day, so I am jazzed. I normally don't allow myself to have caffeine after 2 p.m., but it's a special day, so we're having a treat. So, and speaking of treats, if you haven't already, this is your time and your prompting to give to our day of giving. That's why it is, inherent in the name. We are specifically working through all of the different impact areas at all of our live stream events. So 8 a.m. brought you health and wellness. The Lunch and Learn brought you information about Alice and our Alice population and who is Alice. And we brought a face to Alice. And you got to meet Kathy. And that really speaks to our financial stability and emergency needs impact area. And now we're in our education and mentorship area. So we are going to be bringing on Stacy Reitmeyer, our Senior Director of Education. She'll be joining us in just a moment. But I wanted to give everyone a very exciting update. We are over halfway towards our goal. And we have, as you can see, about 15 hours left. So nearly halfway there. Our Day of Giving is a 24-hour fundraising event that starts at 8 a.m. on the 20th and goes until 8 a.m. the 21st. We do have one more live stream today at 6 p.m. where we're also going to be having Wise Supermarkets offer a matching gift. So hopefully finishing the day strong. So dollar for dollar, again, just like Service First this morning. And we wanted to thank both of our matching gift sponsors. Service First gave us our largest matching gift yet for our Day of Giving, which was $2,000. So they matched that dollar for dollar and we hit that right out the gate. So thank you to everyone who gave. And then we have another opportunity for you to double your impact during our 6 p.m. live stream with a $500 match from Wise Supermarkets. And speaking of Wise, if you haven't heard, yes, there is a shopping spree available for everyone who donates. So if you donate to the campaign at any point in the year, you are eligible and put in the running for a Wise 2-minute shopping spree. So not only are you donating to causes that you're passionate about, but you might even get to run around and live my childhood fantasy of playing the supermarket sweep game and grabbing those golden turkeys or those golden hams. So we're really excited about that. So again, thank you to Wise for enabling us to have such a fun gift to offer to our donors. So hopefully one of you can grab that prize. So thank you to everyone who's tuning in at home. Please be sure to engage in the chat. You'll have seen a couple of links already dropped in there about the Wise sweepstakes and also where you can give. So please feel free. We have time after both of our segments today to ask questions. So as we're talking and as we're sharing, if things come up and you're like, hey, I want to know more about that, put it in the chat and we will answer you. This is the perfect time for that. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Steph Rittmeyer into the chat, into our live stream. Hi, Steph. Welcome.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Well, I would love for you to introduce yourself and tell a little bit about the role that you have at the United Way and the work that you do.
Sure. So I'm Stephanie Reitmeyer. My title is Senior Director of Education here at the United Way. And I was brought on to help bring parenting programs to our area. So we started first with our Parents as Teachers program that works with pregnant moms through children who are 5 years old. Then we saw a need and we added our Triple P or Positive Parenting program. And we started, of course, with those youngsters because when you catch them young, hopefully we can nip anything that may be troublesome or problemsome to a parent. And then as we started to work through COVID and get closer to looking at deeper what we needed in our community, we brought on our active parenting programs. And we just love that. That's actually parenting classes, and they come with the different age groups and they bring along a whole variety of options for parents.
Well, that is very exciting. I also wanted to know if so all of these programs that you are a part of or that we're offering, what would you say is the most rewarding thing that you see coming out of these programs?
It's a twofold growth, I would say. I love watching parents accomplish goals. If they want to see their child succeed by the parent themselves being able to add different discipline in the home or be able to bring down the yelling. That's one I hear often, so I feel like I yell all day long. So they don't want to have to do that. So we give them some tips and tricks to add to their tool belt. And then also seeing the children succeed. It's just a double edged sword. And I just love being able to see both sides of the growth.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, are there any highlights from the past year that you would like to share? You were with us last year, so like this is an opportunity for us to update folks on what has been happening over the course of the year. Any achievements or anything special that you'd like to share?
Absolutely. Well, I sent along some photos and I'm hoping we can stick them up here at some point. They're photos from our family fun nights. And that goes with our Parents as Teachers program specifically. It's a requirement that we not only work individually with the families, but we can get them together. So here's some fun activities happening in the back parking lot, as we like to say. We get our SUSLs involved, our the Susquehanna University service leaders. We have fake fires and roast marshmallows. Yeah, we have lots of fun stuff going on. And here's a little guy, he's working on some Valentine's Day stuff with his mom and just building the activities that they can do at home, that we maybe start them and they take them home, or they can see an idea and they can go home and replicate. We just love, 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 love. And here's our team just the other night in the Sealands Grove Parade, being able to color the world, as I like to say.
That is incredible. I feel like this one right here didn't load properly for some reason, but I'm like, what happened there? So
it was a swimming pool and they were fishing for pool noodle fish. It was pretty cool.
well, okay, maybe I'll try to reload that went back. But I'm obsessed with this little fire that I think that is just the most adorable thing. And
yeah, so
it's Olivia. So thanks, Olivia.
It was really fun. I watched the team make it, and when I got the picture, I was over the moon at how exciting it was. Just being able to, give the kids opportunities. Maybe it's not real, but they can at least have an experience doing something they might not get at home.
I would have been all about that, real or not. Like when you're a kid, I feel like that's the beauty of a child's imagination is that fire is real. I'm roasting my marshmallows. I can feel the warmth from here.
Absolutely.
Well, that was so lovely. Is there anything else that you wanted to share about like your year so far?
Absolutely. We instituted a new program that goes for all of our families that we serve called the Pop-Up Free Cycle. And that's been one of our favorites. We've collected all kinds of goodies, from kitchen supplies to bath towels to barbecue grills and TVs and you name it. We had bicycles. We just kind of were like little collect-its, and it was all gently used or pretty new stuff. And then the families earn points throughout their time with us and can come and spend them. And the best part of the program was we were able to partner with our friends at the United in Recovery families and bring them down with us as well. And they got to help us out So it was a bonding experience in the office, but it was also a bonding experience amongst the families to come and shop and see them get so excited over things. So we've had 2 of those now. We did one in April and one in September. And we're very excited to say that that program is going to stick and that we're definitely moving forward with that.
Oh, I love a good like little shopping thing, and I love that it's like it's just set up so that it's useful items. Like I know that that was one of the things that you were really specific about, is that it was productive and useful items, so that we weren't just like burdening people with like, you know, stuff that they weren't really going to use. So it was very efficient, as you know, we love to be in our organization. So I would love to know, like, be looking into the future, Steph. What programs are you guys working on? Because I know we have some things that are in the
In the
mix.
mix. We do. We have some hot off the presses teen programming that's coming out, so we're very excited to be able to bring that. We're finally trained up and certified and ready to go, and then we'll be rolling that out here very shortly. And in the 2024, in partnership also with United in Recovery, we got a grant to bring in parenting inside out into Northumberland County Prison. So we're excited to be able to offer all parents everywhere what they need. And we're hoping that makes a huge impact as well.
Yeah, I think the working to kind of get into our local prisons and, you know, to work with that population has been something of ours that we've been shooting and striving for quite some time. So for this to finally be, you know, on the horizon, I think is exciting for all of us. So, you know, really helping, you know, empower people, as you said, with the trainings and the awesome programming that we have. So did I also hear too, I'm like, maybe I'm not allowed to talk about this, but was there something about dads that we were going to start working towards with dads?
We are. We've been looking at and dabbling with the idea. We were just looking for some funding behind it, and for it to build a little bit more traction, I'm going to say. We currently have a lot of moms and not so many dads, so we don't want to bring something out too soon and have it not be as successful as we want. So we're just trying to gain some traction within the families and see what we have, but there's some potential dad stuff coming down the road.
That's awesome. Well, I'm very excited about what's in store, but also what you guys are currently working on. I listened to a podcast recently that was talking about the impact of early education and preschool and working with our children, you know, that 4-year age group, and just preparing them for how to do school and how that has a lifelong impact. So I was listening to the podcast and being like, yeah, we're doing it. We're part of this change. We're part of this. We're working on it. So I know the education team is really passionate about that. What would you say it's like working down? I mean, you guys are at the garden level of the building. So we always hear like some fun stuff coming out of there. So what is it like to be working in that team dynamic and you know, all that you guys are working on?
Well, I'd say in order to work in the guard level, you have to be enthusiastic and creative, and definitely have a lot of energy, because we sometimes go from 8:30 in the morning to 8:30 at night or later, meeting families where they are. If they're out in the community, we're out in the community. If they're, you know, in need next door, we're next door. If they're in another town, now we only cover Snyder, Union, and Northumberland counties. We have our counterparts in Columbia, Montour, who do very similar work to us that we try to match up. But definitely we go out and you got to bring the energy. It's very, very vivacious downstairs.
Yes, yes. I can definitely, we feel the energy, all positive energy, but I'm always like, oh, that they're having so much fun. And the pack of crayons, I died when I saw that. I definitely shared it, and I got really inspired by all the colors and being a part of the pack. So you guys can check that out on our Facebook page. But yeah, you guys are always doing some really creative stuff. Like that team is super creative. So thank you for all of that.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
I'd like to know specifically, Steph, where does your motivation come from for this work? Because being that it's so vivacious, being that you're working such long hours, some might say that's asking too much. But I find that when people are passionate, and we very much strive for a healthy work-life balance in our organization, but you have to have passion to do this work. So where does that come from for you?
Yes, you are 100% true. It has to be a passion or it's not going to work. And I was a teacher, trained and educated teacher, did my time, as I say, in public education, and I also worked in childcare. And I knew we were missing the mark somewhere on kids. There was just something that we were not hitting, and I needed to find that out. So I found United Way work, and I've been able to dig. And it's not just simply looking at why a child is having a temper tantrum, but it's going deeper and figuring out the root cause of that temper tantrum. Is it because they're hungry? Is it because they're tired? Is it because something that they feel they need is not met? Or is it just simply a temper tantrum? Because they do occur. So just trying to figure out what that is. And that was a big passion of mine, of how do we truly get to the root cause and help everyone in the family?
Man, speaking to root causes, you're singing the song of our people, because I feel like at United Way, that's really what we're trying to do, is tackle these issues that are complex and interconnected. We talked about that during our Alice segment, but really, really getting to the root cause, digging down and finding, let's not just put a Band-Aid on this. Let's find the root source of this so that we can address it at that level and have long lasting impact on people's lives in our community, especially our children, because they are the future. So I won't bore anyone with my singing voice, but we have some folks here who just cheering you on. Colleen, our board president, saying, great job, education department, and Wavy, who I know is one of our very crafty, creative kittens downstairs, working hard on all of our stuff. So she's very proud to be a part of the team, and as we all are. So I love getting our updates at our Monday morning staff meeting about what you guys are working on. It's always so exciting. And I know how hard you guys work. So I say thank you. And I'm just so excited we get to share. Like, our Day of Giving is the opportunity for us to really highlight all the efforts that you guys are working on all year long. So as we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to share about the education team or your passion?
I just say we work hard and we play hard. I mean, we play as hard as we work some days downstairs. So shout out to the team. We have Jenna, we have Wavy, Amanda, and Joanne, our fearless leader, who just keep us going every day. And all I can say is keep your ear to the ground, because you never know what's going to come out next.
Oh, love it. Well, why don't we have you finish this sentence, Steph? I stand united in purpose for...
So I stand united in purpose for empowering families to be the best they can be.
Love it. Can't argue with that. So thank you so much for joining us and for sharing more about what our education team is working on, so that our donors and those who are giving today can have a better understanding of where their dollars are going and the impact that it's making right here at home. So thank you for your work, for the tireless efforts of the team. And we will let you go and say, and to enjoy the rest of this rainy day. So we're going to shift the weather, but we're all cozy in here. But thank you so much for joining. And yep, thank you.
All right, we'll see you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was our Senior Director of Education, Steph Reitmeyer. A big thank you to her and the team. They are a fun group. Always a pleasure to work around. So again, as we are making our way through our 4 p.m. live stream, I just want to remind folks that we are over halfway towards our goal, but there's still definitely time to make a donation and to help us spread the word. So if you're watching this live, I would ask that you share this out, share it on your page. Just say, hey, check this out. Let folks tune into what we're doing and what we're talking about today. We're about to move into a really exciting section of our live stream show today, which is going to talk about our mobile makerspace project. So I'm going to be bringing in a panel of our leaders who will be sharing about this amazing work that they're doing here in the region. So just give us a moment and we will be bringing in that team. Hi, Mary Beth. Welcome. Oh, I can you, I think we can hear you. Oh, wait.
There we go.
There we go. Hi. Welcome.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
You guys have had a really busy day today.
Yes, we're still going. It is not over yet, but we're having a blast. So thank you so much for joining us. Oh, can you hear us okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm going to also bring in, so Mary Beth, do you want to introduce yourself and where you're from?
Yep. So my name is Mary Beth Harris, and I am actually the new executive director at the Lewisburg Children's Museum.
Yes, that's a recent appointment, correct? So that's like
this week. So you guys get to introduce me to the world here on your live stream.
Yes. I'm like, what is happening? We got some photos already in here. Get out of here, photos. We're not ready for you yet.
But we can talk about those now, but
they're so excited to be here. So we're also going to bring in Ginny. I'm going to add her to the conversation right now. Hi, Ginny. I think you're coming in. You're coming in hot. There we go. So this is Ginny. Ginny, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Oop, you're not also not. There we go. Wait.
Yep. All right. Hi, I'm Ginny Weibel. I'm the director of the Bloomsburg Children's Museum.
Yes, and so we, as you can see from the chat, we have links to both the Lewisburg Children's Museum and the Bloomsburg Children's Museum in the chat. So you are welcome to visit them there. But why don't we start off with Mary, and you can just kind of chat, and like we said, we'll get those photos up for you about like some of the projects that you're currently working on at the Lewisburg Children's Museum.
Yeah, so we provided you with a couple of pictures about some of our current outreach that we do regarding the mobile makerspace. So two of our big components that we take out on the road, one of them you can see there in that picture, that is our Rigamajig. And it is a great component just to take out and help kids to be creative. So this picture and then the following picture, we used it a lot this summer with a curriculum our education director developed based off the books, If I Built a House or If I Built a Car. Those are kind of classic storybooks where a kid imagines these crazy houses or these crazy cars with all these fancy features. And so we took those on the road and just let kids' imagination run wild. And they got to construct whatever they dreamed up with the Rigamajig. And it was a really fun process. And then we have a couple of other pictures of our Lego kits that we use. And we were just down at the Rec in Selinsgrove a few weeks ago with those Legos. And they look like regular Legos, but they actually have a really great component where kids can code when they're building their kit, and they can add sound and they can add lights and they can have an interactive component there on the iPad. So that's another really great component that we take on the road with us as part of the makerspace.
Wow. I have to say that I'm kind of obsessed with the name Rigamajig.
Isn't it a fun thing to say?
That is a fun name. I want a Rigamajig. Like, who doesn't want a Rigamajig? That's awesome.
My 4-year-old is obsessed with it, and it's not a permanent exhibit in the museum, but he's always like, Mom, when are we going to play with the Rigamajig?
Oh, well, you know that when they're asking for it, that it's a big hit.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to bring Ginny back, and I'm going to have Ginny kind of talk and share some of the pieces that she's working on. Oop, did not mean to take you out of the live stream there, Mary Beth, but I will just put your camera off while we work with Ginny. Hi, Ginny. I see that you're in the museum. Ta-da!
Museum, and I'm here with my friend AJ, who is digging our newest. We have a revamped dinosaur dig pit here, and she's been a blast digging around in here. But that's an example of, if people can't get to the museum, what could they do? So that's where the United Way came in to help us and other providers like 4-H and the Lewisburg Children's Museum be able to run mobile programming. So we get to reach kids all over a 5-county region with the help of the United Way. Actually, that attracted attention. We're now in all kinds of counties. But what's important is that we would never be able to do this without the United Way. So we actually do have a fossil dig program that we bring out to all sorts of communities. We have all sorts of STEM programs that are going on. I think we're in Selinsgrove tonight. We're also in Milton tonight. We were in Benton last night, in Orangeville last night. So it's really a fabulous opportunity for places like us to be able to serve more people because of the United Way.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm just going through a few of the photos that you've shared with us, Ginny. Are you still able to see them?
I don't see them.
Okay. So were there any ones in particular that you wanted me to highlight? We're just really, like, I love the photos of the kids working on this, the STEM projects, and then also, seeing some of the pieces that are out on the road. You can see, it looks like, all the different locations that you guys have been at that you were mentioning.
Yeah, so we have a wide variety of programs. I think we have close to 40 different programs that we take on the road, and do all sorts of different things. I think we're in 13 different libraries or community centers.
Wow.
And again, thanks to the partnership with the YMCA, places like the Williamsburg Children's Museum and the Lewisburg Children's Museum and 4-H get to reach all these kiddos that don't necessarily have the means to get to the museums. And it's really a great opportunity for us to fulfill our mission of serving all of the kids in our region.
Well, that's just incredible. And I was like, I think that's one of the whys. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's that, but I didn't want to get ahead of myself and say something that was wrong. But we'll bring Mary back, and we're also going to bring in our president and CEO, Adrienne Mail, and we're going to get our panel discussion started. So we have some questions for you, but Adrienne's going to be the one kind of guiding us through this panel discussion about the Makerspace program, the mobile Makerspace program. So Adrienne, for those who haven't seen you on our previous live streams, do you want to introduce yourself and share who you are and what you do here?
Yes, I would love to. And thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Adrienne Mail, and I am the president and CEO of Susquehanna Valley United Way. And I really appreciate both of you sharing a little bit about what you do at your amazing locations. We as a family have visited both, and they're so much fun. And we really, just can't say thank you enough for all the work you do in the museums and out on the roads too.
So thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. And Danielle, I am going to confess that my screens are all turned around because I had to pull out of my second screen to have audio. Would you kick off with the first question, and then I will be on board, but I can't see what I'm looking for.
No worries. We got this. I would love for you guys, we went through a little bit already through the photos to share about the programs that you offer. And, but let's hear a little bit, like we're specifically talking about mobile makerspace, but did you want to share about like some of the other programs that you have going on at because you're also funded partners. So that's like another exciting thing that I really want to call out is like, we have this awesome project going on with the mobile makerspace, but you're also funded partners who have programs that, are in the museums themselves. Did you want to share a little bit about that?
That would be great. Jenny, do you want to go first?
Sure. Thanks. So we have currently going on, I'll talk about current. We have our after school maker camp, which is a 10-week series where it's a maker project. We have a CSI crime scene investigation. The kids are trying to solve the case that our turtle was turtle napped, and are piecing together a mystery over the next 9 weeks to figure out who did it. We have our after school art with a really talented artist, Sarah Mika, who's doing really wonderful projects. We have our Music Together program that goes on. It's a pre-K Music Together. That is a fabulous program done by Carrie Kenny. And we have our combat robot team that meets regularly. We have coming up, we have Booberg, which is one of the largest Halloween events that we have in the area. I think we get like 2,000 kids at it. It's crazy, but Halloween's always a great time, isn't it? And I think the next big one we have coming up after Booberg is, we have a dinosaur Halloween party. And then we also have Turkey Day coming up where we bring live turkeys in. And our homeschool program, we have a really vibrant, awesome homeschool program that's supported with United Way funds. And we just had an awesome program down at the river with the Susquehanna Middle River Keeper. And all the kids got to explore along the Susquehanna shoreline, find macroinvertebrates. And it was a great day. The weather held out for us. It was nice. So we have all kinds of things for all sorts of ages and all sorts of subjects, depending on what you like. But we wouldn't be able to do everything we do without the United Way.
That's incredible. I also heard you sharing at an event recently, Ginny, about that you're not only doing these incredible programs for our youth and for the community, but that you are a museum and there's an element of legacy and posterity that you do at your museum. So I would love for you to share about that as well, because I was like, oh, wow, I did not know that. So it was one of those things that struck me about the work that you do. So I thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah. So we are a children's museum. So we take the children's part of our name very, very seriously. We want families to come in here and feel relaxed and have fun. But we also are a museum. We do have collections. We are accredited, and we take that part very seriously. So anything that goes out on our floor is fully vetted by experts. We not only have lots and lots of interactive things, but we have artifacts that have been donated to us that we keep in the public trust. It's also a really cool part of the museum, and why a lot of adults tell us that there's so much here for them too, because we aren't just play, although we shouldn't belittle that because we all know how important play is, but there's also a lot of museum component to us too.
Yes, I feel like there's like a whole Egyptian exhibit piece too. I was walking through during one of the
I'm standing in front of it.
Yes, my visit. I was like, what? Shut the front door. I was like, there's legit Egyptian pieces in here. So I was blown away. And also, like, what a great exposure for young minds, to like see something and imagine, like, wow, the ancient histories of it being there. But thank you so much, Ginny. And then Mary, I'm going to turn it over to you. So what other, I know my bonus daughter, Lilu, absolutely loves the mini Wise Market at the Lewisburg Children. Like she cannot get enough of shopping at that little grocery store. And then I'm just like obsessed with the fact that it's like a mini market. I always love tiny things. I do fairy gardens in my free time. So anything that's tiny, like a tiny version of anything, I'm like, this is amazing. This is it. So
I have to say that's probably the highlight of many people's visit to the museum. It's right at the top of our ramp as you come into the museum, and it certainly attracts both kids and adults. And I was just giving it to her earlier today, and she was like, oh my gosh, this looks exactly like being in a grocery store. And so one of the things here at Lewisburg that we really prioritize is giving kids that experience to step into creative play that allows them to imagine kind of real world experiences that they wouldn't necessarily be able to create at home. And so the Wise Market is a great example of that, of being able to experience and play and interact and explore, really. in a way that's truly unique, you know? But one of the things I am really excited to highlight is actually our program that's sponsored by the United Way is our monthly sensory friendly family night, which is a pretty unique program in that we once a month provide a space for families in the museum to come in free of charge for kids who have special sensory issues. And so we limit how many people can come into the museum during that time. We turn down some of our exhibits, we turn down some of our lights. We usually have a therapist on site to offer some guidance and assistance to families, as well as providing sensory friendly backpacks. And that was something that was provided to us through Geisinger. And so I was just at the United Way breakfast like a month ago, and a gentleman who was sitting at our table, he was like, wow, I have a friend whose child has autism, and I've never heard of a museum doing something like this. Like, I would love to get the contact information. So, and I was really excited to share it because it was our United Way funded program, but we do a ton of other programming as well. We have a music class for little kids that is called Circle of Music, and that's with Ann Lawrence. And she's a great musician and instructor. And actually, we do a ton with partnerships with the Maryland Conservancy, as well as with the Union County Historical Society at the Il Engel Walker House. So we do a ton of outdoor programming with them as well. That started back during the pandemic when being inside wasn't that great of an experience for everyone. And so we started doing a lot more outdoor nature programming during the pandemic, which I'm really excited about. And then I just want to highlight one new program that's coming up next month is our partnership with the SAMEC Art Gallery at Bucknell. We have a 3-class series that's going to be with them. They have a special exhibit this fall with Shepherd Fairy. And so kids are going to be exploring, one week they're going to be exploring color and composition. And I'm blanking on the third week right now what we decided to call it, but it was another C. But that's going to be a really exciting class just to get little kids, young kids, elementary age kids into an art gallery. It's not usually a space that is very conducive or accessible. And so we're really excited to be able to partner in that way.
Googly eyes, googly love eyes from the audience there. Well, that is all very exciting. Thank you both for sharing. Adrian, did you have an opportunity to field our next question?
I did. I apologize. You know, when you pull out the, cord, all of a sudden everything's moving and you're like, wait, what is happening?
Yes.
And I just want to say that I appreciate, from both museums, I just think that we are so lucky that you both have such an emphasis on accessibility and, making sure that, we know, oh, do we know how, of course, to get in the door, there's got to be some payment, but how you make sure that families that aren't able to do that are still able to come and take advantage of the extra programming. I think the sensory programs that both of you offer are unbelievable. And it's something that, a lot of people probably don't have to think about. For the families that do, though, that, that you're thinking about that is just, it's unbelievable. And I think it helps other agencies and other people to remember that that's something we should all be taking into consideration. So it helps all of us as a community grow and be better. So thank you for leading the way on that programming and just being so accessible to all families in our footprint. It's unbelievable. So, of course, our partnership has really been around this mobile programming. So would one of you talk a little bit about what mobile programming is? And then we'd love to hear from both of you what you're doing to take your programs on the road and what that looks like.
I'll let you go first, Mary Beth, because I took it last time.
Okay, sure. Sounds good. So we have a number of things that I highlighted earlier through some of those pictures that we take out on the road. Our biggest, obviously, is the Rig-a-ma-jig. We also have those Lego kits that we take out on the road. And then we have a number of science components as well. We partner with the NISE Network, which is the National Informal Science Education Network. And so we use a number of their kits and programs when we're out on the road, as well as we have utilized curriculum from Leap into Science through the Franklin Institute out of Philly. And so when we go out, we might be at a library, maybe we are at Summit, maybe we are down at the rec down in Selinsgrove, and we are able to engage with kids who maybe aren't ever going to set foot through our doors. And that is a really, I think, important piece of this mobile makerspace is that, makerspaces kind of across the country are very popular to have in museums, but there's still that accessibility component of not everybody is going to have the bandwidth or the resources to be able to come to the museum itself. And so being able to take those programs out into the community, I think is vital in fulfilling our mission and fulfilling Bloomsburg's mission of being out in the community teaching science and STEM.
I love that we talk, like that's one of the things that we chatted about in some of our earlier live streams is just the barriers, the unforeseen barriers that some families face, whether that's transportation, like being even able to get transportation to the museum, the cost of attending. If you're worried about putting food on the table, this isn't a priority, but it's so important and so special for the kids to be a part of. So the fact that through this program, we're creating access, and it really is a beautiful thing and worthwhile.
I do think that access is the key here. And it's from our point of view, when we go out on the road, we're doing a wide variety of different things. And a lot of times the libraries will tell us what they want us to do. We kind of come up with creative things if they're like, hey, well, Degenstein just asked us to do something around the solar eclipse. So we went out and did something on the solar eclipse. But it's really about the families and not just the kids. And I'm sure Mary Beth would agree. I mean, it's the parents too. Like the mobile program is really special because a lot of times, and I'm not saying that what we do here in-house isn't, but a lot of times ours is drop off, whereas the mobile, the parent's right there with the child, and the parent gets right involved with the child. It really becomes like a very nice family experience. And it's the parent and the child doing whatever, whatever they're doing, but it's kind of like a nice little vignette that you see this family interaction, learning together, interacting together, and just having a nice time, but then also learning something. So it's just so much more than the STEM that is really super important, and the self-efficacy that we're empowering these children with, to think that, oh, gee, I can solder together a flashlight and it works, or I can program a robot and it works. I could do that, where they don't necessarily have those opportunities otherwise. And access, we get to connect a lot of families with resources through chatting with the families when they're at the programs. And if they're saying, oh, hey, we can't afford to go to the museum. Well, we've actually gifted memberships to families that we've interacted with on our mobile programs. Or we also point out that the United Way helped us with the funding through Degenstein Foundation for us to provide the passes to the libraries that we're working with to go to either the Lewisburg Children's Museum or the Bloomsburg Children's Museum. So there's another point of access to the museums. So even with that, some of these families, they don't even have a car. They have no transportation. They live in town, or they're really isolated rural communities. So the mobile aspect of it is just phenomenal. I know kids will wait. The librarians tell us that they just can't wait for us to show back up the next month.
No.
We've also spun off older, so most of ours is like school age, so you're thinking like 6 to 12, but several of the stops that we make have also asked us to do teen programming too. So we've, in several of these communities, we started running teen programs that are a little bit beefier than what we do with the smaller kids. But it's nice to see how the program grows and how we're able to meet the demand of the services because of our partnerships.
Ginny, I'm so glad you mentioned, and I wanted to bring up that the Dagenstein Foundation, and there are actually several foundations under. So all of those foundations, but probably mostly the 1994 Charles B. Dagenstein Foundation and their board of directors has been unbelievable supporters of this work. They have made a multi-year commitment to support mobile maker space, STEM and STEAM programming, teen programming, leadership. They are just right there with us and really excited to see where this goes. So I do want to do a shout out to anybody that is connected with that group of, amazing people, that foundation, because the support has really, it's just allowed this to become more than an idea to, real partnership and collaboration. And most excitingly, we then have been able to take some of that match money and go after much larger grants. So I think you're going to be seeing even more in the coming years. And that's really with the help and collaboration of the Dagenstein Foundation. So thank you so much to anyone that might be on and listening. We couldn't, as we always say, we couldn't do it without you.
Yeah, it's not just the passes, but like a lot of the equipment, I would not be able to do the stop motion animation that we get to do on the road, or a lot of the robotics on the road, if it wasn't for Dagenstein. Or I could do it, but with like 4 kids, and I have 20 kids in a class. So they really increased our capacity. The United Way made those connections. It's really, I mean, we're just like a little microcosm of what it should be like.
I think we're already talking about it, but I'm just going to drive a finer point to it. Just, why is the partnerships that you have with United Way so important to this work that you're doing?
From our point of view, and I know, Mary Beth, you're in the same situation. Like, we're not a big staff. And the resource sharing and the partnerships that the United Way helps us network with, the support they give us. I know I've run really big events, and I've texted Adrian, and it was like, I'm like 10 volunteers short of making this come off. And Adrian herself has shown up at some of my events. So like the people power, the networking, the resources that are made available through the United Way. I mean, it's great if you want to, please give to the children's museums. We like the donations, but the United Way is such an important partner because we just wouldn't be able to do what we do without them.
Well,
I just want to add, that I think it's just so important the way that the United Way brings people together. Like I could be over here doing Lewisburg and Jenny could be over here doing Bloomsburg, but really, the United Way is kind of the glue that brings us all together, and through a number of other partnerships. And I just think that that's so important that we're not competing, that we're collaborating in this community and in this region.
Oh, I love what you said there. It really isn't about competing. Like you said, competing. It's about supporting and advocating. And, I said this before. Adrian helped me with the metaphor with the ships.
A rising tide floats all boats.
That keeps coming up and then leaving my head. I'm like, it's something with ships and a tide, and we're all in it together, and everybody benefits, and it's a good thing. I'm like, whatever that metaphor is. But I did want to mention too that one of the cool things about the United Way is that you can allocate a gift. So if anyone's on today and they're really inspired, and Lewisburg's maybe like a little bit closer, or Bloomsburg's closer to you, and you want to allocate funds to them and their programming specifically, you can do that. And that's right there in that donation link. You can just write in their name, and it's easy peasy. We put it over there, and we make sure that our funded partners get that funding. So that's one of the other things that is very important to the work that we're doing, is funding our partners, but also creating this connection point, this point where people can come in and share resources, share ideas, have support. And then Adrian had mentioned like going after grant dollars, that we can infuse with even more programming. So Adrian, did you want to talk to that aspect of it at all?
I think and I always just get like, so it's like my greatest joy to see the like work that we are doing and hearing the agencies talk about it and seeing the value in it, because that behind the scenes work, we know that you are busy doing the things you do to make this community a better place. I mean, the hours that both of you spend going to all these locations, when they're talking about mobile makerspace, they're not talking about someone else. It's Ginny at that Dino Disco on a Saturday, making it happen. And Mary Beth, I have not had the chance to see you out yet, but I know that you are there. I'm coming for that Munchkins event next Saturday, and I'm
Oh yeah.
sure you will be there.
I will be here for our Munchkins and Pumpkins, probably dressed as a clown because that's what the staff decided to do for our group project.
Adorable. Cannot wait to see it. But so our job is the behind the scenes. It's calling the meetings and saying, hey, if we do the writing, what can we do? Can we go after this grant together? And it is amazing that the answer has been yes. Let's do it all together. So we are really, I like the glue better. United Way Worldwide calls it the backbone. And I'm like, oh my, what a terrible way to say it. So I think the glue, we do like to be kind of the connectors behind the scenes, but thank you both for really saying that so eloquently. And I would love to hear, just as I know we're getting towards the end, I would love to hear from each of you. I know there's always that like really proud moment, the highlight thing, maybe something that's just happened, but could you just share like one really great thing or your proudest moment, a highlight, something that you'd like to leave us on that's going on at your organizations?
Yeah, I can. This isn't kind of a big thing, but it was a story that a staff member was telling me today that really just kind of touched my heart and really made me remember why we're all doing this. She was telling me about they had been down at the rec in Selinsgrove recently, and there was a little boy, and the staff member came up to our staff member later and was like, you don't know this, but this little boy, he is a different child when you guys are here. Aww. Because he gets to be creative and build and have access to all of these things. It is his favorite day of the month when the Lewisburg Children's Museum comes and brings either a Rig-a-Majig or a Legos. And just the fact that we can make a difference for that one kid makes it all worthwhile, right? That we don't always know as museums or when we're out in the community doing programming what the long-term impact of those interactions can be. But hearing stories like that, where we are truly having a difference in one child's life, it just makes it all worth it.
One thing that continues to amaze me that we have going on here, and I'll talk about it because we just added 2 more instructors, is we have when our kids age out of programs. I mean, we have high school programs, but at some point in their life, they're like, I'm too cool for this. We see the kids coming back to volunteer with us. Oh. And they feel invested in the museum. They still want to take part in the museum. So, they get too cool for the programs. So they want to volunteer and help out at the programs. And then they get more involved with us. And we started a program where it's called Girls in STEM, because we're trying to increase the female voice in STEM education. And we currently have 4 young ladies who started with us when they were like 8 years old. Mm-hmm. And now they came up through our programs. They volunteered with us, and now we've hired them back as instructors. So some of the instructors that go out on these mobile programs are actually our Girls in STEM. Actually, 2 of them are at the Selinsgrove Rec tonight, teaching, and I think the third one's in Milton. But it is so wonderful to see this culture of volunteerism that we're bringing up with young people, that they feel so invested in an institution that they want to come back and just give of their time. And then, we recognize that there's, talent there. And then we have the capacity to actually offer them a paid position. We also have a young man that's done the same thing that we're adding to our instructor staff. But these are really I mean, these are like the future leaders. These are our nonprofit leaders of the futures, ladies. We have to get them now. It never is but I mean, I can be as animated and I think I'm being really fun in front of a class, but if you put another young person in front of a class of kids, they are totally enthralled. So not only for female voices in STEM, which I tend to be a very strong proponent of, but putting those young ladies in front of them, it not only has the boys realizing that girls are very effective at STEM, but then also the girls seeing somebody like them teaching the program and realizing that they have that capacity in them to do it.
There's a lot to be said for representation and, cultivating young minds being part of a community. I feel like we're in such an I-centric world. It's iPhone. It's, how does this affect me? We're in our own sound bubbles, in our own, cacophony of a sound loop of like what we want to hear. But when you are cultivating community and community mindedness and representation and inclusion and accessibility, as Adrienne said, like putting it out there that there are other folks who maybe need the sounds turned down for them so that they can engage and participate as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's just how we include people. Like it just creates the world that we want to see and the world that I want my daughters to be growing up in. So it's really powerful, the work that we're doing. And it's so like triple fold on so many different layers. So it's really impactful.
Yeah, and Mary Beth, I really appreciate your story because I think, a decade ago when I came into this work, I was like, we're gonna, do this for this big group of people, and it's great, and we get to do that sometimes. But the work that fills me at the end of the day is, getting one person into a car. But that one person that we started with has turned into over 30, and that one person and that one person, I now truly believe that's how we make change in the community. And thanks for bringing that up. I think that just reminds me all the time of it sometimes is one person at a time, but man, what a difference that can make.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, kind of keeping us on theme, being united, just bringing, it's in our name, uniting our communities, uniting our nonprofits, but, there's so much more that we can do together than alone. So there's the power of the one, but there's also the power of each of us coming together to create this change and then have this impact on our communities. So, Adrienne, were there any other questions that we wanted to share with the group? Or ladies, do you have anything that you would like to share that we haven't covered, or that you want to make sure that people know about the work that you're doing?
We're just so grateful to the United Way for their support, but also just for the ways that you have brought collaboration to our community.
Yeah, just to emphasize all the work that the United Way does with your sister agencies, the collaboration, really lifts the entire region up. And United Way really is the glue, the cohesiveness that has all of these nonprofits working together. And it's such important work that the United Way does. Sometimes it's like you're in the background and nobody really knows what the United Way does. I'm telling you, it's really important, the work that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you both so much. And we can only do the work. Our job is to be the backbone. But it's working with amazing programs and truly amazing people like the both of you. So thank you again for the work that you're doing. We know that it's not easy and we know that you're putting in the hours, but it is making a difference. And that's the reason that we love to work with both of you. So thank you so much. And thanks for being here today and sharing out about United Way. It is so much more interesting to hear both of you speak than to hear me. So thank you.
Well, as we get ready to close out our 4 p.m. Education session, I would love for each of us to go around and just share what we stand united in purpose for.
I stand united in purpose with all of my sister agencies in the United Way to serve every single person in our entire region.
And I stand united in purpose as well, with the United Way in making connections, both for kids and for families and for agencies, in promoting learning and exploration in our community.
Danielle?
I stand united in purpose for collaboration and for the metaphor of all ships, all ships rise. Guys, it's been long enough. All ships.
Rising tide lifts all ships.
I think you just get started wrong is the problem. You start at the end and then try to work your way back.
You know.
Yeah, so I stand united for our partnerships and our collaborations and how we can do more united than we can alone.
Yes, and I most definitely stand united with all of you in making change, sometimes large groups at a time and sometimes one person at a time, but it's all impactful.
Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us today and for sharing your stories and for continuing to fight the good fight and have incredible programming for our youth and our families. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having
us.
Well, Adrian, it's just you and me. As we head out here, I'm gonna send the links to both the Lewisburg Children's Museum and the Bloomsburg Children's Museum into the chat so that you guys can check those them out. As we said, they have some incredible programming happening. And if what you saw today inspired you, this would be the day, this would be the time to make that donation for education and to, help us continue to create access for families and youth to be able to have access to these incredible STEAM programming and to see our young flourishing. So thank you again. We're going to do a quick check-in, Adrian, on our leaderboard and where we're at. So we did climb a little bit from when we started. Thanks, everyone. So we're nearing that $6,000 mark, and we're almost to our $10,000 goal. As we said, this is a 24-hour virtual fundraising event. We do have one more session after this where we're going to be talking about our final impact area, which is really like our community impact work and the work that we're doing around creating belonging in the community through our story circles. So we are really thrilled to be sharing about that. The leadership team for Story Circles will be on, as well as our brand new community impact director, Christine Orlando. We're so excited. She'll be coming on and sharing like her vision for the role and the work that she's excited to get digging into. So she's been with us for like a hot minute. So why not throw her into a day of giving? There's Christine. Toot toot. I can hear the foghorn from the little emojicon of the ship. Thanks, Christine.
She's already helping out. How great is that?
Yeah,
you should jump in with both feet.
I'm never gonna live down not knowing this metaphor, but after this, I'll like have it memorized and never mess it up again. But thank you, Adrienne. Was there anything that you wanted to share in terms of like where we're at and what's happening with our Day of Giving?
I think just again, thank you to everyone who has followed along. It's so fun to see the feed fill up. And then I've been actually getting some text messages too of people just so excited. This is like such a fun way to be able to share all of the great things that we are doing, and only ever with, the partnership and collaboration of both our funded partners and other really tremendous organizations in our community. And Danielle, as always, I want to thank you. We would not have a Day of Giving without Danielle very firmly telling me that we needed a day just to ourselves. And sometimes I need not just a push, but like a push over. And this was Danielle's, we need to make this happen. And 4 years later, wow, what it has grown into is unbelievable. So Thank you, Danielle, for making this day possible. You do all the work for it.
It's a collaboration. I literally can't do. We don't have any program if people don't participate. So, it's everyone coming together, because I think it's a great opportunity for us to share the work that we're doing, and for the community to understand the work that we're doing. We are behind the scenes a lot. And so it's, I think, a chance for us to toot our own horn and let folks know, when you give to the United Way, that you're giving to impactful programs, that you're giving to, we have like a vetted process of like why we fund the programs we do. It stays local. We have a local board who are invested and care very deeply for this community. So it's all local, and it's all steered by local community needs. So I can't think of anything more exciting to be a part of. So really, this was just a natural outflow of that, and us sharing our story and the work that we do. Because people need to know about it so they can get involved. So thank you for all of your work today. And we're going to see you again with me back on the 6 p.m. live stream. So we have some fun things that we're going to be talking about then. And, folks, share this out, share it. There's still like more time to give. Share our live stream, share, if you already donated, share why, and help us get the word out. This is our one day a year where we really are looking to, at the very least, get it in front of folks so that people know what we're doing. So thank you very much to all of you who have tuned in so far, and we look forward to seeing you again at 6.
Thank you.